Guys Hike podcast.
Yeah, that's what I called it too.
Yeah, this is Richard and Mike. We're a couple of dudes from Kansas or Missouri or California, whatever you want to call it.
Or Mississippi, throw that in there too.
Or Mississippi. Well, whatever. But right now we're in Kansas, and we decided to do a podcast to talk about local trails and trails far away and all things outdoors.
All trails, really.
And, just the bullshit mostly. That's what we decided.
Mostly.
We just decided to have a little fun and go from there. Mike, why are you doing this, man?
It's good exercise.
It's good exercise.
Gets me outside.
Right. I mean, we're calling it Fat Guys Hike. So, if we don't get fat anymore, do we quit?
No.
If we get skinny, are we just like...
Once we get skinny, we can change the name to Skinny Guys Hike. And, once we get really skinny, we could take on weightlifting and call it Buff Guys Hike.
I was just kind of thinking this would be a great excuse to eat as much as I want all the time.
Or eventually, we may just keep the name Fat Guys Hike, and whenever we appear on camera, we'll just have to appear with pillows stuffed on our shirts. You never know.
We could. That's one route.
We'll have to
perma Santa Claus.
We'll have to keep the image.
It's like
of Fat Guys Hike.
It's like Kiss, except instead of face paint, we're stuffing pillows on our shirt. We can't be seen in public, not with a fat suit on. That would be perfect. I mean, that'd be great though. Because obviously we're going to turn into massive celebrities, and no one will recognize us without our fat suits.
Nope. We just walk around in public under just, normally no one.
They'd be like, hey, is that the stupid guy from that dumb podcast that I kind of listen to sometimes? And I'm like, oh, no, he's too skinny. Can't be him.
Yeah, we could put on wigs. That way they don't. I mean, I really don't need to because I really don't have a lot of hair. But you're coming up fast.
You need wigs. Anyways. What we're going to do here is we're going to review a couple trails every week, try and highlight some lesser known trails. I feel like that's what's needed. What frustrated me, what kind of gave me this idea, was I was looking for cool trails to go hiking on that I hadn't been on before. I didn't want to travel, clear across the country to do it.
Even though we did.
And we did, but before then, I was looking for places. I'm like, there's no good way to find them. I mean, there's all trails.
There's all trails, but even on all trails, it's only going to tell you, at least from what I've used it, and I mean, I'm a pro member for them, and so you get all their benefits. But even with that, and being a pro member, it's supposed to tell you about all the hidden trails and stuff like that. But even all the hidden trails it tells you about are trafficked very, very often.
The thing with all trails is you're pretty much just relying on strangers to tell you what's up.
Stranger danger.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good service. I'm not dissing it. I think it's very helpful.
It is, and it's cheap and it works.
But
the GPS is nice.
Well, yeah. I mean, it has a lot of great features, no doubt. But the only trails it's reliable on are the trails that everybody uses that has a ton of reviews. And I'm talking about the trails that maybe have 5 reviews on all trails.
Or none. We could just do our own.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be some really good trail out there that basically no one knows about. Or, river trip or whatever.
Oh, there is, definitely.
And
we should do that sometime. We should go and just make our own trail.
Well, I mean...
We just have to find out how.
There's, legal problems and stuff.
I
mean, we could make our own trail. We just gotta find somebody who would let us do it on their property. And that's not a lot of people are cool with that.
Just sneak by.
Yeah, but, yeah, so that's pretty much it. What do you think, Mike? Should we jump straight into our trails that we have been on recently, or
probably the first one we did was now I forgot the name of it.
The Sipsy Loop?
No, that wasn't the first one.
The first one. Well, I think
First one we did halfway was actually we did 30% of the way. We only did 5 miles there and 5 miles back because it was a really long one. Was
the
one in Elk Lake?
Elk Creek. Yeah.
Yeah, Elk Creek.
Yeah.
It's 16-mile out and back.
Yeah, and we're definitely gonna have to return to that one.
Oh yeah,
That's definitely like a 3-dayer, but
minimum 2-dayer minimum.
yeah, I mean it depends.
Because we went 10 miles in one day and we had to start at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
we'll come back to that one. That one is in Independence, Kansas.
yeah, right off 400.
Yeah, and it's like a 15-mile out and back, or point to point, whatever you freaking call it.
They call them out to back because you go out and then you come back.
Yeah, but then it's like 30 miles.
Exactly.
So it's like a 30-mile, yeah.
Essentially, yeah, 32.
What do you want to call it? But a few weeks ago we went to the Sipsey Big Loop.
Yeah, we drove down to Arkansas.
Bankhead, not Arkansas, Alabama.
Alabama, sorry.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yep. As a Bankhead National Forest.
It was cool.
The plan was to do a 29-mile loop in about 4 days.
Yeah. Plan was severely cut short.
Yeah, so on the second day, we ended up, one of us, Mike, ended up sustaining an injury. And it wasn't super serious, but, it would have made the remaining 20 miles not fun. So
absolutely. Let me rephrase, absolute hell.
Yeah. So we decided to turn it around and call it, but after one night. But I mean, it was still a good trip.
It was a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so that trail was.
Also, we forgot all our food. I forgot all our food.
Wow. I wasn't gonna bring any food. I was like, "It's just 4 days."
4 days.
Blowing
10,000 calories a day. You're gonna need food.
It's fine. So.
Unless you.
There's no way of doing 10,000 calories a day, man.
Oh, easy.
There's no way.
Easy.
There's no way.
If you just burned 4,000 calories yesterday fairly easily without even going to the gym.
I went to the gym yesterday. I was at the gym for 2 hours yesterday, and I burned 4,000 calories.
Okay, well.
And I worked out freaking hard, too.
Oh, wow.
I was going to send you a screenshot, but I forgot, dude. I burned 1,000 calories.
I'm staying at about 3. That can't be right, because I'm staying at about 2,800.
Dude, I have my watch.
I know that.
The recorded data. We burned about 5,000 calories. Or I did. I burned about 5,000 calories on both of those days that we were out there.
Yeah.
So there's no way we're burning 10,000.
If
that
we
would be
went,
double of what we did. I mean, we probably would burn a little bit more.
If we went for a full day, because you gotta remember, Elk River was a full day, but it wasn't near. We didn't have near as much weight on our backs.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we weren't crossing rivers.
Yeah,
and running through muddy banks and up steep hills that have a 90-degree grade on them, and all the other stupid stuff.
It's definitely good exercise. Definitely.
If you want to have a heart attack, yeah, the hill part anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So, what'd you think of that trail?
I liked it. I liked all the sand. I liked all the waterfalls. Especially, I really liked the cave.
Yeah.
I feel like there were going to be more caves on it too, than just the one.
Probably. I mean, it seemed like every quarter
200 meters.
Oh yeah.
There was at least one waterfall.
Yeah, I mean,
of some size.
If you like little waterfalls and little caves, and you don't, this is your thing, man. There's waterfalls throughout the whole thing.
Yep, there's waterfalls, there's river crossings. It's not very high on incline. It's really easy on your feet, because I know when we were in Elk River down in Independence, it was just killing our feet just because it was just rocky and the roots on the ground were. It's just, yeah. Pick right shoes, people.
Yeah. Good shoes, yeah. I mean, you're going to get wet. You're going to cross the river a couple times.
Didn't.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That was a poor shoe choice on your part.
We would get wet.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, this was my biggest. There really wasn't any great views.
No, there's a lot of trees.
And you're like down in the valley.
And you're down in a valley. All you really have are sounds, really. Not a lot of good views unless you climb up to the top.
Yeah, and as far as I could tell, the trail would have never taken us up to the top. We would have just been like right there next to the river.
Yep.
Basically the whole time, which, is fine. You don't have hills that way, really. Maybe some little inclines, but nothing to worry about.
Something like that.
And it was well maintained for the most part.
I don't know. The trail marking on it was absolutely terrible. We got lost like 3 times in the miles that we did.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we did, 5 miles? Or was it 3?
We did like 5 or 6 miles the first day and about the same on the way back.
Yeah. So within the first 6 miles of the trail, we got lost, I think, twice. One of them we got lost by like 1.5 miles, and we had to backtrack.
Yeah.
And then make a left at that fork in the river and cross the river.
Yeah.
There's a lot of log crossings, though, if you're brave enough. There's a lot of log crossings.
Mike wasn't ever brave enough. I'm like, dude, come on.
No, I have way too poor... with a turtle shell on my back, no.
Yeah. No, I'm like, no, I'll carry all your stuff. I wonder...
I told you to watch out for that log.
I'm sure somebody's tried it. It's probably not a good idea. But you can always just put the hammock above the fire and just cook yourself.
Yeah, build a bed. Yeah. Breakfast in the morning.
Could you imagine if that caught on fire while you're
You would know it.
Oh, yeah, but think about it, man. The fire obviously has gotten larger since you got on it. and you're trying to get out of a hammock that's on fire above a fire.
Yeah, it burns through. You fall on the fire.
Probably not a great experience. I'm just
saying. You know what? That's why there was a river by us. Go hop in that.
That's true, but I don't have a hammock. It's on fire.
And then you're freezing with hypothermia because it was 38 degrees or 35 degrees that morning.
Yeah. They're probably not the best idea,
But we tried to get one last one in before, winter set in.
What if you got one of those thermal fireproof blankets? And you
would just cook. You would be in tinfoil. You would just cook. You would literally be cooked alive.
Dude, I would have took that. I would have been if I was gonna die.
No. That is not the way to go, being cooked alive inside of a tinfoil sleeping bag.
Well, I wouldn't.
All right? That basically turns you into a microwave burrito.
I obviously wouldn't be cooked alive. Because...
So what's going to kill you?
I'd be like, holy shit, this is hot, and get out. That's what would happen. It wouldn't just be instantly. Man, when you cook a burrito, it doesn't just happen like that.
Yeah, it happens in 30 seconds.
I mean, I guess it could. Anyways, so...
Yeah, anyway, the Sipsey Wilderness Trail I liked it. There's a lot of sandstone, which I like because you don't slip a lot on sandstone. There's not a lot of hazards, unless you don't like water.
Yeah. There really wasn't
as far as we saw.
There really wasn't any place where we had to, literally climb to get anywhere.
Yeah. The cave's a pretty tight fit, though, if you're anybody over 180 pounds. Just saying.
Yeah, so we had a hell of a time. I'm definitely over 180 pounds, so... No, I mean, I think it was... I don't think it's weight, I think it's height. I think if you're 6'5", you're going to hate the cave.
Yeah, that's true.
Have to crawl.
I mean, I'm only 5'5", so it was easy.
Yeah, I'm about 5'11", so...
Slightly harder.
Yeah.
Main thing is you have to drag your packs across the ground, and they get all muddy and they get wet, and there's really no way to avoid that.
Yeah, unless you have somebody climb up and throw them over.
And in most cases, your pack's going to be too heavy to throw over.
Yeah.
And even if you do, it's just going to explode upon hitting the rock.
Yeah, you have someone catch it, man. Just huh.
All right, let me go on top, 30, 40 feet in the air and throw a 60-pound pack at you. Watch you catch it and watch what happens.
I can do it. No doubt.
All right, we'll do that sometime.
No doubt.
I'll fill it with rocks.
Yeah.
60 pounds of rocks. Or would you prefer cotton balls?
60 pounds of...
It's not going to matter. 60 pounds is 60 pounds.
I prefer cotton balls because I feel like even though it's 60 pounds, I would love to watch you try and fit 60 pounds of cotton balls in your back.
I bet I could.
Like,
I bet, you know what? That's a challenge I will take.
Let's do it. Let's buy
60 pounds of cotton balls. Let's do it. Yes.
I don't know if...
And then let's just douse them in Vaseline and light them on fire.
Oh, dude. That'd be awesome.
That would keep us warm.
Yeah, for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. 60 pounds of cotton balls.
God. What a terrible...
You know how many Walmarts we would have to go? That's basically a pallet of cotton balls. That's 60 pounds. I mean, come on. A whole pallet of cotton balls?
No, pallet.
You think it's more?
No, I think it's not that much. A pallet of cotton balls? Come on, man.
Think about how much cotton balls weigh. They don't weigh anything.
Well, I mean, how would you figure 60... with all the packaging and stuff on it?
I'm not talking about packaging. I'm telling take the packaging off.
I'm trying to...
We're not shoving the packaging in the backpack.
I'm trying to envision me holding a box of cotton balls because...
That's nothing.
Yeah.
But take the box off and the plastic and just hold the cotton balls.
That's true. I don't know. It would be a great experiment.
We should try it.
Maybe we should.
It's an expensive experiment, but
Yeah,
I think we can do it.
Probably would be. I don't know. We'd probably bulk order some. Might not be too bad.
For $100?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Made out of real cotton people.
We just go to those cotton fields in Missouri and Arkansas and just like nab some.
Take them.
Yeah, just go pick cotton.
60 pounds.
I bet you that those cotton rolls we saw.
That's what we need to do. We just need to buy one of those giant bales of cotton. That's got to be way more than 60 pounds.
Yeah, it's got to be like 200 or 300.
Yeah,
Easy.
it's all pressed together in there.
Easy.
I wonder
600 maybe even.
I wonder how much it does weigh though. Like, could you just roll one of those around if you really wanted to? I mean, you can hay bale.
Huh?
Like,
Yeah, a hay bale, yeah.
You can
No. One person can't roll around a hay bale. Those things weigh like 2,000 pounds.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Really?
If it's, like, new and has, like, started to fall apart and sink into the ground, you can definitely roll around. You just gotta, like, start rocking it, you know? Like, you push a car. It's basically like pushing a car.
Yeah.
But you gotta be careful it doesn't, like, roll the wrong direction and kill you.
Yeah, roll across your ankle.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that we've talked about the Sipsey Wilderness. We've talked about Elk River.
Let's talk about Hillsdale.
Hillsdale, which is the only one to date that we've managed to finish.
We really didn't even finish it. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, we did.
We did like 90% of it.
So that was cool. I liked it. On the first side of the dam that we went on, that was nice. Like I said before, on the trail, I wasn't a big fan of all the 2x4 or the railroad ties around. The dam walk was nice. The rocks were annoying. And the other side of it was disappointing, I think. Because there wasn't a lot of trail.
There really wasn't anything.
Literally, it just goes to the left, and then to the right, and then to the left, and then you're at some kind of campground.
You're right. Well, yeah, so what we're talking about is Hillsdale State Park. It's on Hillsdale Lake near Hillsdale, Kansas.
Yeah.
It's super easy to find. Just
Hopefully, I hope it's on Hillsdale Drive.
You just look for Hillsdale, Kansas, and then you look for the big V-shaped blue thing. That's a lake.
Yep.
And then you zoom in there.
And then you're basically looking at it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm great at giving directions.
Yeah.
It's about, 10 miles north of Paola. I think that's one way to look at it.
It's right by a gun store, so.
Yeah, there's like this weird...
Any redneck should be able to find it
Yeah,
if you say those words.
Weird little redneck town there, which is awesome.
I've actually never been to Hillsdale except for that. That was my first time going through town.
Yeah, I've drove through it a few times. I've never stopped.
I went to Hillsdale Lake once before, but I came from the back way.
Well...
But it was nice.
It's a good day hike.
It's a good day. If you're looking... We did 5 miles, but if you're looking for 10, you could probably easily get that out of it if you walked them all.
Right, yeah. So the first part of the trail, there's like
Took us 4 hours.
there's like 3 or 4 different trails that all connect with each other. If you look at all trails, it'll say there's like 3 trails that are a mile and a half, but
Yeah.
you just walk them all together,
Or
and it's like 6 miles.
you can also just take the beach and just walk that all the way down the lake as far as you want, pretty much. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's not an actual trail on like any trail. Like that would be a trail that you would just go and walk on. So
Yeah, I think you'd be fine.
but I think it'd be cool.
There's not a ton of docks or anything. I mean, it's a typical Kansas lake. It's man-made.
Yeah.
It's
So it was nice. Out of a 10 rating, I'd probably give it a 6.5.
yeah. I mean, if I lived within 30 miles,
Yeah.
I would.
If
I
you
would
did it
give
every day, you'd get really bored with it. Yes, because
Yeah.
there's not a lot there.
I mean, it's just
But
it's some nice trails
yeah,
by a lake.
you
That's
know,
what it is.
it's nice. Sipsey Wilderness. There's not a lot to look at, but it's really neat.
If I lived within 2 hours of the Sipsey Wilderness, I would go back.
Yeah,
I would say that.
instead of 10 hours.
Yeah, probably not going to go back, if I'm being honest.
Well, we can't say that. We gotta
I
go.
mean, maybe we're just like driving through. We're like YOLO. But I don't want to make another trip out there.
To finish the 28-mile loop.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Maybe someday. Not.
Someday, not in wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, admit that morning was brutal.
Maybe. Yeah.
That morning sucked. No fire, because everything was too wet.
Yeah,
Just cold, pack up, and go.
you're gonna get cold. Definitely could have been a little bit more prepared. But that's all right.
Yeah, we try to be prepared. That's probably why we had too much stuff on us.
We're just prepared in all the wrong ways. So.
Not really. We prepared in ways to make fire.
Yeah. Which was good. But yeah.
And then the Elk River Trail, I think, is probably the best one that we've been on of the 3 we've been on. The views are really cool. You go up in elevation quite a bit to like 4,000 feet above sea level. You start at 2,000. So within 5 miles, we rose constantly up and down to the highest point of 4,000, and you're constantly overlooking Elk Lake, which is this huge lake. And the wind really gets whipping up there.
It is definitely, it's probably as far as trails goes. Like we were looking at an article earlier saying that trail is the best trail in Kansas. And
Yeah,
probably is. Like,
I like it.
I haven't been on all the trails in Kansas, but that's a pretty good one. You definitely have heights and
there's a lot of cool caves and rock formations.
Yeah.
And stuff. It's really neat.
It's challenging, but not like stupid challenging.
Wear good shoes.
The ground is really rough, so like
Yeah.
your ankles by the end of the day would be like,
Are screaming
Jesus.
at you. No.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like you're not like climbing huge inclines for like a mile or anything.
No.
No, it's just kind of ups and downs and pretty chill. Like I like it. We're definitely gonna have to go back to that one.
Yeah, so some trails that we have in the future that we're planning on going on, or not planning, we just discussed about going on them. I saw one over in Perry that my dad told me about. It's by Perry Lake, but I think it's like...
Just north of Topeka?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I told you about. It's like a 30 miles loop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely want to do that one.
Over at Perry Lake. I think that one would be interesting because I've been to Perry Lake. I like Perry Lake.
Yeah,
I've been there a bunch because
Really?
my dad lives in Perry. So
I've never been there. So
there's a lot of trees. Obviously, this is Kansas.
Yeah.
One place I don't think overnight camping would be fun is in the plains.
Well,
Is if we take any plains hiking trips.
there was one trail I was looking at. I can't remember where it was. I think it was out by Emporia. It was like the Flint Hills, no trees type of thing. And there was like buffalo along it, so that would be kind of cool to see some buffalo, I guess.
We'll get trampled by
It's
them.
like mean looking cows.
Yeah.
So
Oversized cows.
yeah,
Like multiply a cow by 4.
it's like
put horns on his head.
It's like a tall cow that's not as fat. And...
I think everyone knows what a buffalo is.
Yeah, everyone knows what a buffalo is.
All right, they were almost extinct at one point. There were less than 20 of them at one point.
Yeah, and now people raise them basically,
and they eat them too. It's
Yeah,
actually a very sought after steak,
Yeah.
which is kind of sad, but still.
Yeah.
I digress.
Why is it sad?
It's a buffalo.
They're captive now. We can breed as many of them as we want.
Yeah, well, maybe we shouldn't.
Why not?
Anyway, this is not a podcast about ethics.
I'm all about ethics. You know, I'm all about eating animals.
Well, yeah, so am
thing.
I, but still, I'm not just going to eat a buffalo.
Why? I'd eat a buffalo.
I mean, hell, I felt guilty about buying a 4570
Why?
because that was the cartridge responsible for nearly making them go extinct.
No, that cartridge had nothing to do with it.
Yes, it did.
It's the freaking guy up there pulling the trigger.
Yes,
It's
but
nothing to do with the cartridge.
it was the only cartridge at the time that could kill him.
So
The only one that could take down a buffalo was
Yeah,
that. Was
yeah.
could kill it. Was
the
that?
Indians freaking were wiping them out too.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
They would kill one and use literally
No,
everything
not
on the
true.
carcass.
That's not true. The reason the buffalo herds were like so big whenever like the white settlers came
Yeah.
was because all the Indians were killed off by the plague, and so the buffalo were like, "Hey, there's no one killing us." So
Let's
their population exploded right when the white people were like, "Holy crap,
We need to get this under
And then
control.
white
Bang,
people
bang,
were
bang.
meat for days." But
Hell, they would kill buffalo for sport and leave everything there, not use anything. Anyway, but yeah, Perry Lake is one that we were planning on going on. This one that Richard's talking about that I haven't heard of yet in the Flint Hills. That might be cool. We are also talking about, because I have a kayak and Richard needs to get a kayak.
this is my goal. I want to kayak the entire length
Of the Missouri River.
Yes.
From Montana all the way down to wherever it ends.
Well, St. Louis. That's where it ends. We could just do Kansas City since we're.
Yeah,
For-
Kansas
for-
City, because we live in Kansas, it's closer.
And plus, once I feel like once you get past Kansas City, then it's just
How many miles is that?
a lot. All right.
I think it's
Okay,
definitely
Google.
doable. I think it's definitely doable.
How long is the Missouri River?
The length of the Missouri River is 2,341 miles.
That's it. Just 2,341
No,
miles.
subtract 300.
I read an article about a guy that did do the whole length
Oh
from
my god.
Montana to St. Louis,
Yeah?
and it took him like 3 weeks.
That's 1,800 miles that we'll have to travel.
but he said like it's all downstream too, and he said like he didn't even paddle most days. So we just paddled.
We'd have to take 3 weeks worth of food with us.
Yeah,
We would each need to get new kayaks.
we wouldn't need a ton of food. It's just 3 weeks.
Yeah, but
Look at his-
you would need supplies. Ways to start fire, tent, medical supplies in case you get injured. Some form of protection because you're going through bear country and cougar country and grizzly country.
Yeah,
Montana.
Yeah.
Grizzly bears, they attack
Yeah,
humans.
but it's not that many there.
Doesn't matter. I don't want to get eaten by a grizzly bear.
I mean,
Plus, it might be a good food source.
if you got eaten by a grizzly bear,
It would suck.
it'd make a great podcast. I'm just saying.
Man, you ever seen the movie, what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? The Revenant?
Yeah, I was looking into that. I thought about talking about that today, but you know how I sent
Funny
you
how
that,
it came up.
you know how I sent you that video about like the real story on that, like,
Yeah.
the guy's actual life. Well, I did some more research on that. It turns out like that's probably not even true. A lot of it,
Why?
like there's a lot of like conflicting sources, like about his life. Like they basically know he was born in Pennsylvania, and he was a pirate for a little bit, and he was attacked by a bear. It's basically all they know.
And he lived.
Yeah, and he lived. Yeah, but yeah, but still pretty cool. He's a pretty badass dude.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So when we were hiking in Hillsdale, you kind of just brought something up, and I kind of gave you a little crap about it. But I want you to elaborate. I want to know the full story. tell me about your skydiving experience.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I really wasn't all that impressed.
You really weren't all that impressed. Like, so how did it start? Like, where'd you go?
Well, I slept. It was in Missouri.
Is it Missouri?
Yeah, just like you.
Yeah.
Because that's the only lead I had.
There's a lot of places in Missouri.
Well, I'm trying to remember the name of the town. Because, like I said, I wasn't all that impressed with it. I slept on the way up there. And I slept on the plane.
What? Okay.
Like I said, I was bored and tired.
Wait, so what was the plane like? What did the plane look like?
I was just like a regular cargo plane. Only it was tiny. Like, I'm trying to think. It's the only plane like that I've seen. Take like, I don't know how to describe it.
Like,
There were
it had
seats.
Wings. Was it a prop?
It had wings.
So it was a prop plane.
It had seats in it on the sides.
How many seats?
6.
So okay, 6 seats.
Yeah, you had 6 seats. There were some seats on the side. 1 seat in the middle for some reason.
So like, what was going through your head? Like, you get there as you're flying up to altitude. What were you thinking about?
Well, I was woken up when we got there by the instructors. They're like, wake up! You need to listen to this.
Like you literally.
I was asleep.
You literally fell asleep on the plane.
Yes.
Why? What the hell is wrong?
I don't know. I was tired. I was a college student. Come on.
God.
I was literally asleep on the plane, and the instructors are like, wake up! You need to listen to this. This is important.
You're like,
The dude's name was Dave. They just like, Mike, wake up! You need to listen to
probably
this.
this is the first time that's ever happened.
I was asleep.
I
There were 2 other people on the plane. There were 3 instructors there,
Yeah.
and they're like, wake up, listen. And I'm like, yeah. What? my eyes are all glazed over and bloodshot. I'm like,
I want this ability of yours to just sleep.
yeah.
Whenever. I can't freaking do that.
But I mean, I wasn't impressed. Can't talk. I know the town started with an FAT. I know that. But
fat.
no, FAT or something similar. But
Do
anyway,
you remember like what part of Missouri?
I know it was in the northeast corner.
The northeast corner. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea. It's part of Missouri I know nothing about.
I know that we drove for a good long ways, and I know that it was in the northeast section,
Okay.
roughly.
So
of
what
Missouri.
did you think? Because when I went, this is one of those strange things. What did you think about the instructors? Like the kind of people that are like, oh,
This dude reminded me of an army drill sergeant.
Really? Really? Was he actually?
Mine
military?
was. The other 2 looked chill as fuck.
Really?
But the guy I got was like yelling at me and shit. Probably because I was asleep on the plane.
Do you think he was actual military? Like that's where he learned how to do it?
I mean, he was yelling. His voice cut through, the wind pretty damn good.
Man, it's pretty good.
So,
It's nice to know.
I don't know. I wouldn't go again.
You wouldn't go again.
It wasn't enough excitement.
So, like, how did you...
I know that's crazy to say, but you're just falling. That's it.
It wasn't enough excitement. So, how did you jump out of the plane? Like, so you said it was like a cargo plane. Did you actually, like, go out the back? How did that
No,
work?
there was a door on the side.
There's a door on the side?
Yeah.
So,
It was behind the wing.
did you have to, like, climb out on the wing?
No,
You didn't?
the door was behind the wing. It was really weird.
So you just kind of fell out?
Because, like, I kind of thought it was going to be like the movies, where you either went out of the back,
Mm-hmm.
or the only other planes I've seen in movies, the door was in front of the wing. So I'm like, well, I don't want to hit the wing. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then I look at it and I'm like, huh. Because you have your plane.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is the audio thing.
You have your wings. I'm just trying to explain it to you. And the door... God, you're a dick. And the door was...
right now, he's moving his cell phone across the table to simulate an airplane.
Anyway,
And,
yeah, the door was on... Let me think here. The door was right here, behind the wing.
okay, so the door's behind the wing.
Yeah. On the... I guess there weren't 2. There wasn't 2 seats in it for the flyers. the pilots. There was just one, so I can't pick a side, but it was on the left side.
Okay.
If you're facing it. And then I just kind of like let the instructor take over because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Dude, okay. So, you wasn't that excited.
I know that the guy, like, when I went, there was like your main chute that the instructor pulled, and then there was your backup. I know that he put my hand in this kind of like, it's weird to explain, in this like, he put my hand in this, I don't know what you call it, this rig, sort of.
Your hand in a rig?
Yeah, in a rig. And that rig was attached to the second pull cord for your backup chute. And he told me that if anything went wrong with the first one, to pull that when he yelled pull. So, luckily I didn't have to. Honestly, I probably couldn't have if he said. Because, like I said, I mean, it's just, I was like really nervous and really stressed out and not impressed.
So
the landing was cool, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I found. Like, once you pull that chute, it's just like, it's nice.
It was a little more violent than I expected it to be.
Really?
Yeah. I was expecting kind of like falling, whoosh, pull it, and then you like flap a little bit, and then you slowly glide down.
Was that not your experience? So what'd you do?
Well, my stomach felt like it was in my mouth.
Oh,
so,
really? So
yeah.
Huh.
Kind of like when you're falling on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Only, you know,
Do roller coasters
multiply that by like 10.
Do roller coasters bother you at all?
They don't. I love roller coasters, but man, they just turn my insides inside out.
Dude,
I don't throw up on them by any means, but God, the sensation of the instructor pulling that chute was, let's just say, the effect you get on a roller coaster when it goes almost inverted, but multiply it by like 10.
Really? Huh.
I hated it.
I didn't have that experience at all.
I hated it.
Really?
But maybe, were you super nervous? Because like I was nervous. I was like sweating and shaking like this. I was shaking like this.
Your story sounds so much less crazy.
Well, it's weird because I wasn't really impressed with it.
Really?
I wasn't excited to go. If that makes sense.
So were they like...
The only reason I went was because you told me about it.
Yeah. So was this place like professional?
I don't know because part of me says that the drill instructor part was professional about it. Everything else, like the plane, kind of seemed like it was up that alley. You know, there wasn't holes in it or anything. Mm-hmm. It wasn't rickety.
Yeah.
But,
so when I went, dude, we just it was this little tiny airfield. It was just a field, and like down in like southern Missouri, and we show up and there's just like this little tiny hangar, and then outside the hangar, as we pull up, we're like, is this even the place? Like, we're like, do we have the right spot? We pull up and there's this like really old airplane that looked like it was from the 70s. Really old. And it's tiny. And we're like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. They have this old airplane out here for us to look at. Like, what was this in Vietnam or something?
That's yours, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, we show up, we're like, where's the airplane? And we're like, right there. That's what we're flying in. What? Dude, and all the instructors, man, they all look cracked out of their mind.
How many did you have?
Well, there's 3 of them.
Oh, really?
There's 3 of us that are jumping, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of the 3. One of them seemed like a normal guy. Like, he was pretty chill. And I think he was, like, the boss.
Yeah, 2 of mine were chill, and the other one was like Arlie Ermy over here, just like...
The other 2 were, like, you know the sort of dude that's, like, he's really, like, 40, but he looks 60. And he's got long hair and tats, and you can tell he smoked his whole life. You know that kind of guy?
Yeah.
That's what they look like. And they're all, like, whacked out of their mind. One of the guys showed up on a skateboard. Which is super impressive because we were in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, where do you even come from? Like, we just ride a skateboard 20 miles
That's your instructor sounded a lot more interesting than mine.
Yeah, interesting is the word.
The one that jumped with me, his name was Dave. I'm gonna call him Drill Sergeant Dave because he was a literal incarnation of a drill sergeant from the Marines or the military.
He was.
My God, yell! Every word that came out of his mouth was a yell, and he looked pissed off and angry all the time. And he wore a cowboy hat.
Hell yeah! But you felt safe in his hands, though.
I mean,
this guy's got it.
I mean, I was at a point in my life where I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing this. I don't care. I didn't.
I don't care if I die today.
It was something that I just wanted to. It was something that I didn't think about doing, because I knew if I thought about it, I wouldn't do it.
Oh yeah.
So I just didn't think about it. Didn't think about how much it was going to cost me. Didn't think about how far it was.
How much did it cost you?
$396.
Jesus Christ. See, I got what I paid for. I only paid like $120.
Jesus. Really?
Yeah.
I got ripped off.
Wait,
that was the drive there and everything too.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean,
I think
it was fun. Like, I was so nervous, dude. So our plane was super tiny that you could only hold like 4 people. And to jump, you had to climb out through the door and onto the wing. Like, you had to hold onto the wing and put your feet on the part where the wheels are. And you, like, stand there off the side of the plane. And I had to do that first. Like, before the instructor went, I had to climb out on there. And then the instructor climbed on behind me.
Oh, God.
And then we hooked up. And then I remember, dude, I stuck my first foot out onto the wheels, and I grabbed the wing with my hand, and I like couldn't move.
Yeah,
it
no.
was like,
no, with mine, I hooked up to the instructor first, and then we went out the door backwards.
Yeah. Well, what's great? Also, not only this is like, this isn't just my first time skydiving. This is my first time ever flying.
Oh.
Yeah.
It wasn't my first time flying.
Yeah, and
I've flown small planes.
Rickety little plane that's like...
Yeah, your plane you shot up some point in history, but...
We've been using this thing for crop dusting since 1975.
This is the plane from Independence Day.
Hell yeah. This plane fought in the First World War. But, yeah, so... I got out there and I couldn't move, like I was frozen, and then I'm like, they're like, you're gonna go? Like, I finally got enough nerve. I got my other foot out.
You start inching out there,
and then he climbs on behind me, and
he mounts you.
Like, okay, now they're like, okay, now all you gotta do is just let go. I'm like holding on to the plane.
Your knuckles are white.
Yeah,
you're gripping it. I know that. I was gripping the shoulder straps of the backpack parachute so hard that like my hands and knuckles were just white.
Yeah.
Solid white. And like I did that all the way down, and like when I was on the ground, I was like sitting down, like slightly watching my life flash before my eyes because I was scared.
Well,
and like I looked at my hands, they were just white.
Yeah, dude.
There was no blood to them at all.
Yeah, like I remember like I got there and I finally like let go, and we're like falling, and I kind of wish I could do it again, because I was so freaked out that I didn't really take in like, oh, we're freaking free falling above the clouds right now. Like I never really took that in, because the whole time I'm just staring at my altimeter or whatever you call it, to see when to pull the cord. I'm like, I can't wait to pull the cord.
See, you actually pulled the cord.
Yeah, I actually pulled the cord.
See, that's odd. My instructor did it.
Oh, really? No, I actually pulled it. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could have gotten to it, but...
But dude, once you pull that cord, man, for me anyways, like, we just like stopped and it was completely quiet, and then the wind picked up and blew us way off course, and I had to walk like a mile back to so
what'd you do with your chute? Did you have to pack it up? And
yeah, we just kind of pulled it in behind us and walked with it. We landed in the middle of this cow pasture. We were really close to landing in a pond, which I'm glad we didn't do. But the cows were like, what the fuck is going on?
It's World War III.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it was fun. Anyways, moving on from that. So I found this article and from history.com, and it's 5 stunning real life survival stories. And I'm gonna kind of give you a synopsis, and you're gonna tell me why you can beat all of them in a fight. So.
All right, on our number 1 list of random things today that I walk into.
All right. So the first one is
Wide-
Aaron Ralston.
Who's that?
Okay, so have you seen the movie 127 Hours?
No.
Okay.
But I know the story.
Yeah, so basically he's hiking in the desert.
Basically cut his arm off for nothing because 5 hours after he did it, he was rescued.
Wow, man, you're talking shit already. I don't think that's accurate, though.
Literally, after he cut his arm off with a knife and freed himself from the boulder,
5 yeah, but...
like 5 hours later, he was rescued.
Yeah, but he had to walk like 5 miles.
Yeah, well...
it's not like he's just laid there with his arm chopped off and someone found him.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know that part. But
I mean, you're already just like talking shit like, oh, chopped his arm off? This is nothing, man. He doesn't know pain. Man, you don't know the pain I was in when I had to turn around on the Tipsy Big Loop. You don't know.
Well, it's nearly as much as cutting your own arm off at the elbow with a really blunt knife.
God, that would have been so awful.
Well, you know, the knife he used to like cut his arm off was just like this one, just a little pocket knife with two folding knives in it.
Yeah, it was a little multi-tool. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine cutting your freaking arm off at the elbow with that.
God.
Just a little 1.5 inch knife. We need to cover things to take with you while hiking too. I think that's.
I wonder if he tourniqueted himself.
I don't think he had anything to tourniquet himself with.
Surely, I mean, he had like his backpack and stuff there. I think. Man, I don't see how. If you didn't tourniquet yourself, you'd probably die because you'd bleed out pretty quick, I would think. Like losing your arm. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about it.
Still, I mean, the dude was cool, I guess, but I need to watch the movie.
So why do you think you can beat him in a fight, asshole?
Because he only has one arm, obviously.
You're a freaking jerk. God.
I'm the jerk. No, but for real, like, I don't know. Why do I have to beat him in a fight?
I don't know. You think you're so tough?
I don't, though. I'm like a big softie.
Okay.
2 stray cats showed up on my porch last night, and I'm having conflicting feelings.
You're comparing that to losing your arm?
And like I'm having conflicted feelings about letting them go on a dirt road somewhere in the middle of nowhere tomorrow morning.
God, we just lost every cat lady that we could have to this podcast. You just like, fuck you. Fuck the cats.
Well, I already have 3 cats, and they're both female, and they want $1,500 to get them fixed, and nah, I'm good.
You know, all cats want love.
Oh, these cats do? They like rub up on me every morning?
Yeah, you're just going to throw them on a gravel road.
I can't support them.
They'll probably die immediately.
You know what? Someone dropped them off in my town.
A
Their
coyote.
brother, their sister and sister. If you want them, I'll take them here right now.
Oh, no, I don't want them.
Exactly.
I hate cats.
So shut up.
All right. Okay, so this one, Sir Douglas Mawson. All right.
This guy's old, I can tell.
Cannibal or hero?
Tell me the story.
Mawson was an Australian geologist and explorer who infamously explored the frozen continent with a team of fellow explorers in 1912. In December of that year, Mawson and 2 other expedition members left the main base at Commonwealth Bay, embarking on the 300-mile exploration into the interior of the continent to gather scientific data and specimens. Tragedy followed. That was a really long one. Alright, I'm going to summarize this a little bit. So, one of the men fell down a crevice, along with several of their best dogs and the team's supplies. For several weeks, the two others, beset by scurvy and other ills, struggled to return to camp, subsisting first on the remaining dogs, then on starvation ration. Ultimately, Xavier Mertz, a Swiss mountaineer and skiing champion, died from exhaustion.
Obviously, he wasn't much of a champion then. Was
Yeah, I mean, starvation, possibly toxicity from the dog's liver. Okay. Let's see. Mawson battled the elements for 30-some days, finally stumbling to base camp in 1913.
So, at what point is your question relevant throughout the story? Cannibal or hero?
Oh, shit. Okay, so, while deemed a survivor hero, he was later knighted, and his face now adorns the Australian $100 bill.
What an honor.
Yeah. There are questions
Aussies.
about what extreme measures he may have taken to stay alive. In a 2013 biography of Mawson,
You do whatever you have to survive.
suggests he may have purposely set his and Mert's starvation rations at a level that would have hastened his companion's death. And he boiled and ate Mertz's corpse in order to survive.
Start with the gluteus maximus.
Yeah, I mean, long pig. That's what it is. That's what the Indians called it.
A lot of meat, and it's the part in the body that looks least human.
Yeah, I like I said,
I'm going to say he's a cannibal.
I don't think I would have much trouble eating another person.
I think you would.
I think I would.
I know I wouldn't be able to.
I would have a hard time killing another person. I don't think I could do that. But like, let's say if I was abducted by a tribe of cannibals and they're like, "Here, eat Grandpa" or whatever. I don't think I would have any trouble eating. I would be like, "Oh, whatever, it's freaking meat." They're dead.
No, I
What's he
mean,
gonna do?
he was definitely a cannibal.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he had to survive. I don't blame him.
I mean, if we got lost on the Sipsey Wilderness Trail, I wouldn't eat you.
I wouldn't care. I'd be dead as
So,
long as I was dead first.
still wouldn't eat
What difference
you.
would it make? Just make sure I'm dead first. I don't want to wake up with something gnawing on my leg.
You like wake up mid chomp as your femur is being chewed on.
And plus, that'd also be stupid because it's not like we were so far out in the nowhere that you could have just walked in a direction and found a road. So that would look kind of bad.
No,
on
the way that we were headed on the trail, there's like no roads going that way for like 70 miles.
Yeah, we could have like walked back.
If you knew which direction you were facing, yes.
Yeah.
At any point in that trail, did we know which direction we were facing?
We had our
None.
freaking compass and phones and stuff.
It's true.
Could have figured it out. So, if you ate me on the Sipsey Wilderness Trail,
Don't say it like that.
it was probably just because you like eating people, if we're being honest. Alright, so there's a Mauro. I don't know how you say that.
Mauro Maru.
Maru Prosperi. He was an Italian police officer.
Fancy.
So basically, he ran a race in the Sahara Desert. It's like a 30-mile race.
It sounds like Hidalgo.
And he got lost because there's a sandstorm. And basically, he was out there for like 3 months. He tried to kill himself with his pin. But since the air was so dry, it clotted. He tried to slit his wrist. And he couldn't do it, so he had to keep on living. For 9 days, he walked through the desert, ate insects and reptiles. Finally, he was found in a small village. Then he was flown to the hospital. He traveled 180 miles.
In 9 days.
Yeah.
That's 20 miles a day.
Yeah. So he was...
And we're
We're pissing out after 5. We're like, fuck
10.
this. 10, whatever.
Elk River, man. 10. That was 10 miles. We were done. We were limping. We were limping back.
He lost 35 pounds in body weight.
In 9 days.
Yeah.
There's your key right there.
He only weighed like 150 pounds to start with.
There's your key.
Yeah, and that's what I need to do. That's my weight loss plan. Just drop me off in the middle of nowhere with no food, and then by the time I get back, I'll be skinny.
and then you'll be eating a lot because your habits haven't changed and gained all back real quick.
Yeah, whatever. Just have to do it on a regular basis. It's just like every other week I get dropped off in the middle of nowhere. You gotta lose all that stuff you just came back. But here's the thing. He's an enthusiastic runner, and he returned and ran the whole race again in 2012.
Congratulations to him.
So, why do you think he can kick his ass? For one thing, he only weighed like 150 pounds, so come on.
Weight really has nothing to do with it. It does to a point, but
Oh, it does have something to do with it.
Why?
Whatever.
I mean,
shut up,
man. I've seen some small boys take down some big dudes.
Well, that's like okay. Well, like maybe if like they're just a bunch of stupid kids. But I'm talking about. There's a reason weight classes are a thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like, come on. I suspect that like Bruce Lee, like come on, he knew a lot of martial arts, but
Bruce Lee could have taken down.
he weighed like 110 pounds.
He could have taken down.
He was so little.
People 4 times his size.
Okay, I don't think so.
I think so.
I
Just
mean,
like Chuck Norris.
he could get lucky and like kick somebody in the face and knock them out, I guess. But like,
His like 1-inch punch floored people.
oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. There's no recorded evidence of
Yes,
him
there
being
is.
in an actual fight ever. Do you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
Chuck Norris, on the other hand.
Is there a Chuck Norris?
I don't know.
I've never looked into it.
I know he's a martial arts expert.
I think in real life, Chuck Norris could have killed Bruce Lee.
Yeah. I mean, you just shoot him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in like a fist fight.
I don't know.
He had like
I
50
don't know any
pounds
martial
on him.
arts, so.
He had like 50 pounds on him.
And red hair.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, man, you look at the UFC today,
Conor McGregor.
not a lot of Asian people.
Conor McGregor all the way.
Conor McGregor.
All the
Dude,
way.
he is so...
He's a monster.
He's crazy. He's not like the best one,
He's a literal monster.
but he's just nuts. He's fun to watch.
He's savage. He literally has like barbarian Viking
He's
savage
like
side.
Irish, and as an Irish person, I appreciate that.
You're not an Irish person.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You were born in America.
Well, that is true, but
Alright. Probably Missouri.
my descendants came from Ireland.
So does that mean I'm Lebanese?
Yeah, sure. If you want to say so.
From the deserts?
Yeah, I can see it.
Actually, I did grow up in a desert, so
Yeah, see?
it was
Yeah.
hot.
My family
There is...
was a bunch of potato farmers.
That brings something to mind. There is a trail that I want to go on in California, but I only know it from my memory. It's like not on anything.
Okay.
It's this like trail that like starts in the Mojave Desert right outside of Apple Valley, and it goes from Bell Mountain, probably goes for 12 miles across the desert to these mountains, and there's this little windy kind of like goat pathy thing. They're basically desert goats, and they have this little path that you walk up, and it goes inside this mountain, and you go up a long ways, and then you end up on this bank inside the mountain. There's like this beach bank, and water falls from like a hole at the ceiling of the cave, whatever, and then just falls and forms a little river that goes out through the side of the mountain. It's pretty cool.
That does sound cool.
Me and my stepdad took me there for lunch one day when I was like 8, and it was awesome.
Oh, cool.
Probably couldn't go back there.
I feel like hippies went there and did a lot of drugs in the 60s.
I went back once, and there was just a bunch of graffiti everywhere. I couldn't find the cave exactly, but there was a bunch of graffiti around the area, so I'm going to assume they found it.
Dude, that's why I want to move out west.
No, West is horrible.
Yeah. No,
I love all the mountains, but I hate all the people.
I don't want to move.
Utah would be
Yeah, I don't want to
Pretty
move
cool.
to California. I just mean like Rocky
Utah or
Mountains.
Oregon, Sierra Nevadas would be cool.
I think Utah is my state. I always said that. Like I want to move to Utah. It's pretty. It's got desert. It's got mountains.
It's got forests.
It's got forests. It's got Mormons. Love Mormons.
I don't even know what a Mormon is.
They're my favorite cult. They're right up there.
Weren't they started by some guy named John?
Joseph. Joseph Smith. I think.
John Smith.
John Smith. Maybe.
I know that from an Upchurch song
Oh. Okay.
where he talks about no Americans are good. John Smith, me.
Wait.
But why are we bashing on Mormons?
I don't know. I love Mormons. They're awesome.
Literally, why are we using this podcast to
They
bash on people's religions?
They just
It's
sit
horrible.
up there and don't bother. You're bashing. I'm saying they're awesome.
I mean, they.
Don't pull me into this. They're awesome. They don't hurt anybody. They, have lots of wives, which is a lot. That's not even true. Not anymore. You have to go to like Mexico to do that.
Can you legally not have more than one wife here?
Nope, not
But you
yet.
can have a wife and a girlfriend.
Well, why even have a wife? Just have a bunch of girlfriends. Why even get married?
I don't plan to.
Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Why is the government involved in marriage anyways?
I don't know.
That's some bullshit.
You know what doesn't make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When you first meet somebody, it's not a good idea to flash money at them to impress them. But at the point you get married, people buy $7,000 wedding rings to impress them.
Yeah.
Tell me that does not make sense. Any
Well,
sense at all.
It kind of makes sense because
Think about it.
It's not
You're going on a date with someone. It's not a good idea to tip the waiter, fucking $250.
Okay, first of all, I disagree. It depends on the girl.
What? There's no way.
What do you mean? There's no way.
There's no way it depends. No.
There are definitely girls that just want you for your money.
Yes, there are, but those shouldn't be the ones you're dating.
Yeah, but if you have a lot of money, and it's hard to hide the fact that you have a lot of money.
It's easy to hide the fact that you have a lot of money.
Well, it depends on who you are. Like some people, like if I get rich tomorrow, I could hide it because I just wouldn't tell anybody.
Exactly. Same with me. I just
But not
keep
every-
buying $10,000 cars.
Not everybody's like that. Like some people make a lot of money and then they spend a lot of money, and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like too late. Like everyone already knows you have money. Or like, let's say you're like the CEO of some company. Obviously, you have a lot of money. You can't not have a lot of money. You know?
You just say you donate it all.
Yeah, I guess you could, but you have.
Lost it all in gambling. Sorry.
But you still have a lot of money, even if you gave it all away, because you have potential to earn a lot of money.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah, no, there's definitely girls that are into that.
Oh, definitely.
But
Yeah. Gold diggers.
The ring thing is because it's not.
See, that's ridiculous.
It's
to
not
me.
how. It's not about how much the ring costs. It's about how much the sacrifice is for the guy. So like,
Money's not a
a
sacrifice.
7,000. Oh, what do you mean it's not a sacrifice?
No.
If I only have $200 and I spend $190 on a ring, that's a freaking big sacrifice. That's a huge sacrifice. If you're a billionaire,
You can always make more money though. That's the thing.
If you're a billionaire and you sacrifice $1,000 on a ring, that's not a big sacrifice. It doesn't mean shit. You spend $1,000 just going to a restaurant.
Yeah, the most expensive steakhouse I've ever been to was a $600 a person place.
Right. Yeah, no, that's what it means, I guess. You don't see poor people buying $7,000 rings. I would never spend $7,000 on a ring.
Okay, well, one of my coworkers, okay, we'll say his name is Bob. It's not his real name, but that's his name for this.
Okay.
All right. He's getting married,
Mm-hmm.
and he works at the same place I do, making, $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And he's buying a house right now, moving to Georgia, and decides to buy a $7,000 wedding ring. So, I'm just saying, like, $7,000 on a freaking ring? Man, make that shit yourself.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of ridiculous.
Think about it. Like, I'll go 1,000, even 2,000. That's fine. But once it gets above $2,000, no matter how much money you make, I just see that as completely ridiculous. For just a ring.
I don't think...
You don't need a ring for that matter, you don't need a piece of paper signifying that you.
I don't
you
think I
love
would
someone.
spend $2,000 either.
That'd be like my cap, and I'm not cheap.
Well, so at one point in my life, I was looking to buy an engagement ring, and I had a hard time spending more than $200.
Did you?
Yeah. So
Who was that for?
Who do you freaking think?
Really?
I'm not talking about that on here, but
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah. So I
Didn't think
was
of
thinking
that.
about it, but I was like, even then, I'm like, spend $1,000. Well, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I had enough to buy $1,000 ring, but I was like, that's too big a hit. Like, I don't want. It seems like it's dumb. Why would you want to spend that much? I can't tell the difference between $100 ring and a $10,000 ring. They look the same to me. But I don't know. Maybe just some girls it would.
it's not about what it looks like. It's about how much it's worth.
Exactly.
That's it. It's all about the value.
Well, it's also
And-
how much it's worth in
No,
proportion
it's
to what you
literally about the value. It's literally all it is.
have. I guess. Sure.
And I find that very vain and very selfish.
For some girls, yeah, that is. But I think for most girls, it's about how like
Yeah.
it,
If I go out,
it depends on how much money you have. It depends on how much money you
it
have.
depends on how much time you put into it. All right. If I go get a second job and I work 80 hours a week at that second, 40 hours a week at that second job, let's be realistic. And I work that job for 6 months, working, an extra 40 hours a week on top of my 45, just to buy you a ring. Well, I'm not looking at that as the money investment. I'm looking at that as the time investment, because it's a lot of freaking time. That's an extra 40 hours a week that I'm putting all that effort and money towards just the ring. So at that point, it's not it's not the money that I'm looking for. It's just
So you're putting time to buying a
Putting
ring instead
time.
of spending time with her? Wow, you must not like it.
I would much rather, I'd much rather go out and carve some pendant out of a cool piece of wood in the forest and spend, 20, 30 hours doing that.
Doing what?
Carving that pendant out of some piece of wood I found in the forest. I'm a damn good carver.
Yeah, but as opposed to what?
Spending $7,000 on a wedding ring.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know what you were talking about for a second. All right. Well, that was interesting. So, Jose Salvador
Yeah, let's get back on topic here.
Alvarenga. I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Fisherman, spent 13 months adrift at sea.
Good God.
First person in recorded history to survive more than a year at sea on a small boat.
That would suck. So, how do you get water? It
So,
must have rained a lot.
rain and drinking turtle blood. Yeah.
There must have been a lot of turtles around.
So it started
God,
out.
this is like the forest reimagined.
Starting out, there was two of them, and the other guy, it was his first day on the job. They were fishermen, and he died after 3 months. So, yeah.
This guy must have had like the willpower,
What's crazy is
like a whale.
So there's like a storm, and it knocked out like his radio and stuff. He tried calling for his boss because he worked for like this fishing company.
So he wasn't in a rowboat.
No, but the motor didn't work after the storm.
Still a bigger boat.
Yeah.
He probably had
But
a good amount of supplies.
They'd
on it.
only planned to be out for like 30 hours. So they had like barely any supplies.
That 30 hours turned into
A year, more than a year. And
yeah.
no, okay. So here's the thing: his boss sent out a searching crew. They only searched for like a day. Like, screw it, he's dead.
Then he came back 13 months later and was like, "I'm back, bitches."
Yeah. He's like halfway across the ocean. Freaking nuts. All right. This is the last one. Okay. Ricky Meagy. Weird names on this, man. There's no like true blue-blooded Americans.
America was only like 150 years old.
What was that first guy's name?
At the time.
Aaron Ralston. Okay, I'll say he's American.
Ralston, I believe, is Italian.
Yeah, but he was American. Okay, so this guy is driving through the Australian outback, and this is in 2006. Picked up a group of hitchhikers. Next thing he knows, next thing he remembers, he woke up in a shallow grave, naked, in the middle of the Australian outback.
That's why you don't pick up hitchhikers.
Okay, he was out there for 71 days with nothing.
In the most poisonous continent on the planet.
Yeah, like
where everything wants to kill you.
Yeah.
He probably didn't have any knowledge of the local area about what to eat.
He had lost more than 100 pounds.
Let me fly you to the Australian outback and leave you there for 3 months.
Yeah, weigh 145. That's a healthy weight. So.
For you.
I mean, I'd probably be a little thin.
It's a little thin. That's a healthy weight for me.
I mean, that's just a little bit under where I was when I was running, so.
That's a really healthy weight for me.
Yeah.
I need to be at like 120, 130. Think about how miserable he was, though.
Yeah, it doesn't really give...
A lot of info.
Yeah, it doesn't give a lot of info. It says he constructed a humpy, what I guess is a basic shelter. That's what they call a basic shelter in Australia.
A humpy?
I'm making a humpy over here. We're going to sleep tonight in it. So...
That's not a humpy. This is a humpy.
Hey, man, we go out in the woods and build a humpy. You want to do what?
I'm going to go humpying with you.
Okay, he lived off eating frogs, leeches, snakes, and drinking his own urine. So that's good.
Drinking urine only makes you more dehydrated.
At night, he barricaded his shelter with rocks to prevent dingoes from trying to eat him as he slept. So...
I wonder where he found all the rocks.
Yeah. Eventually, workers on a remote cattle ranch stumbled upon Miggy.
Man, I call bullshit on this guy.
You call him bullshit?
Yeah.
Well, interestingly,
I'm calling bullshit on this guy.
What exactly happened What exactly happened to him remains a mystery. Authorities originally expressed skepticism about his story.
I'm just thinking, if he barricaded his shelter with rocks, there ain't a lot of rocks in the outback.
He claimed the hitchhikers likely drugged him. And his vehicle was never found. There's probably a lot of rocks, dude. You don't know where he was.
If you've watched a lot of movies that take place in Australia, you don't see a lot of rocks.
Yeah, but the Australian outback's freaking a big place. You know what I mean? I'm sure he may have just happened to be in a spot with a lot of rocks.
I don't know.
That's like huge. That's like the whole western part of the United States. Gigantic.
I think Australia's the size of like 3 Texases. It's basically twice the size of Alaska, I think.
Okay, Google. How many square miles is Australia?
The surface area of Australia is 2,970,000 square miles.
If you actually listen clear till the end, God bless you. We are just learning.
You just sneezed.
Yeah. We're learning. We're figuring out. Neither one of us really have any.
Yeah, this is my
experience.
very first time talking into a mic. Period.
Yeah.
Except for high school choir, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, basically, I've been a guest spot on a few radio programs, but
that's
outside
cool.
of that,
You never told me that.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I got to talk on the radio a lot for like sports related stuff.
Like on the local radio?
Yeah, on the local radio.
Would you just go to the radio station and...
So they had like a weekly spot where they would talk high school sports on the station, and I got to do that like 4 or 5 times. So.
Cool.
Which is fun. But yeah, so we're just learning. Like I've basically been trying to figure out how to be a podcast producer and video editor in the last few weeks. Still trying to figure that out. So we have more to come. Right now we have an Instagram that we try to post on every day.
Called Fat Guys Hike.
Fat Guys. Well, it's called Fat Guys Hike. The actual handle is fat_guys_hikes. So that's where it's at. All the photos we on there are photos that we actually take.
Yeah.
Which, there's some photos that are really good. You know, I gotta be honest. Sometimes we're reaching a little bit, but it'll get better as time goes on, no doubt. We also I want to do a YouTube channel, and that will include clips from our podcast and probably some other stuff too. That's not up and going quite yet, so I'm not gonna try and tell you where to go for that because there's nothing there.
No, that'll be down the road, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably
once we get this whole Instagram handle thing going on it, and we're good to go, then we'll start branching out into YouTube. Because on YouTube we have to be careful about stuff.
Well, we got to worry about like copyright and different stuff. But yeah, we'll figure that out. It'll come, and then eventually I want to do a website. I want to chronicleize, give people a place to go to get a more in-depth review.
I think it'll be easier to do a website than it will to do YouTube.
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely need to be in as many places as we can be.
Instagram.
So right now it's just
YouTube,
Instagram.
Yeah.
Right now it's just Instagram.
I don't think there's a need for a Twitter page.
What the frick even is Twitter?
Yeah, what is
This
it
is where
anymore?
people go to yell about their politics.
That's it.
It's and I thought about doing a Facebook page too. I'm like,
nah.
I mean, I could.
I don't even like Facebook anyway.
I mean, I guess Facebook and Instagram is integrated together.
Yeah, because Facebook owns Instagram.
If at some point we want to do like a community Facebook page, if we ever have a community, we could do that, I guess.
Hey, we have 14 followers right now.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Those of you who listened, those of you who didn't, that's fine. Thank you for clicking.
Give us the like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. You might see some pictures you like. Who knows? You may find a new hobby in hiking on trails that a lot of people don't hike on.
If you want to support us, just share it. Just tell your friends.
Just share it.
Just share it. That's all.
Tell your
that's all I
friends.
want
No donations needed.
We don't need any money. We don't deserve money at this point. So
Nope.
just share it around. It'll help us out. All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Goodbye.
From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell